Hi everyone. I hope I'm audible. So let me just check it once. Okay. So yes, before I start, let me introduce myself. I am Vani Kari, biology educator at Unacademy. I am an engineer with bachelor's and master's degree in biotechnology and a B.Ed degree. Also a founder of a startup where I grow microgreens by vertical farming technology. Okay, so I'm all right. So it is audible. Okay, so join with us in Telegram for homework and class notes. You can join the channel Vani Kari ICSE class 10 biology. Okay, so this class notes I'll send it. Okay, so I have to send, actually I have to send many of the PDF on this channel. Okay, so by Sunday I'll send all of these whatever sessions that I have done. So I'll send it on my Telegram. So that is on Vani Kari ICSE class 9 and 10 biology. You can search, so you will find it. Okay. So now Unacademy ICSE and ISC both. So this link you will find in the description box. Okay, so you can search these two channels and join this channel. So for class notes anyway, this whatever PDF that I have added here, so that I'll be sending on my channel. Okay, hi Akshay, good evening. Okay, so let's see the special class features that are there. So you can learn from your favorite educator for free, engage with educators via polls. Okay, so clear your doubts in live special classes. So whatever doubts you get, so if lots of students are there, so there is a chance that your question might get lost. So there is a separate question tab where you can type in your question, attach an image also, and send it to the educator during a live session, and they'll be clearing your doubts. Okay, so for the top special classes, you can visit the link in the description. Now Unacademy subscription features, you can learn live from the comfort of your home. Okay, unlimited access to all the courses you will have. Okay, so different educators will come up with different courses. Okay, so you will have access to all of those once you take the subscription. Then top educators of India are going to take the class in one platform, that is Unacademy platform. Regular doubt clearing, so after about every 3 sessions, the fourth session is about a doubt clearing session. So any doubts you have related to the topics that are previously covered, so you can clear your doubts in this session. Okay, then complete syllabus will be covered, mentorship and guidance will be given, study material is given again in the form of a PDF itself. Then practice test can be given, the live test series, batch courses. So depending on your preference to learn in different languages, so let's say you prefer to learn in maybe English or maybe a Hindi or a English, so it is completely your choice. You will have access to all of those batches once you take a subscription. So there is a daily practice section also, weekly mock test series, live quizzes, daily MCQ and subjective test series as well. So if you are planning to take the subscription, so you can just try with 3 months, or those who are just in the beginning of class 10, so you can also go with the 12 months of subscription, because yesterday itself we started a new batch. Okay, so you can start the preparation for your board exam right away. Okay, so in that case, there is one more batch that is coming up, so that is on 13th of April. Yesterday we started one batch, so there is no problem even if this is started, because you will have access to watch the recording also, so you can watch the recordings. Okay, so yeah, so if you are planning to take a subscription, so this is my referral code VANIYT. Okay, so with this referral code you will be getting 10% discount on the subscription. Okay, so let's have a look at the questions that I have added from different chapters of your term 2. So that is circulatory system, excretory system, then the nervous system including sense organs, and there is endocrine system. So all these, name the following questions what I have added. So these are taken from the together with. Okay, so that is your workbook of ICSE class 10. Okay, so let's have a look at this. Hi Ridhima, good evening. Okay, so shall we start then? So first moving on to the circulatory system, name the following. Okay, so here your first question. So in your question paper, if you have observed, that is specimen question paper. Okay, so what is the first question that is there? So in specimen question paper, if you observe, yes, QP. Okay, so first question says that name the following is there. Okay, so which you need to answer. So they can ask you the technical term also, so give a technical term, or it can be name the following as well. Okay, so yes, so pulmonary vein, what is the question? I haven't seen. Okay, so the vein that carries oxygenated blood. Yes, very good. So this one is pulmonary vein. So the next one is the phase of cardiac cycle, okay, in which the ventricles relax. Ventricles, what is happening? The ventricles are relaxing. Okay, so which is that phase of a cardiac cycle in which the ventricles are relaxing? Diastole. Yes, so relaxing condition is a diastole. Systole, when we mention, it is a contraction condition. Okay, so yes, anybody is saying any other answer? So ventricular diastole. Okay, so ventricular diastole. So let's check your answer. So pulmonary vein, ventricular diastole. Okay, so moving on to the next one, the membrane covering. So this one is ventricular diastole. So those who said this, so Akshay said, Raghavendra, Ridhima, Akshay only. Okay, so very good. So that's right. Okay, so now the membrane covering the heart. Okay, so what is that membrane which covers the heart? So what are, like, how many layers are there? So anyway, okay, so it is pericardium. Yes, very good. So this one is pericardium. How many pericardium do you find? Yes, pericardium is right. So there are pericardium is there. Okay, so whether only one covering is there or whether two coverings are there, and what is there between the pericardial membranes? So that can also they can ask. Maybe here they might have not given. Okay, so what is there between these pericardial membranes? So yes, so it is two are there. Okay, so two of them are there, and between them you can find a pericardial fluid. Okay, so there is a pericardial fluid that is providing a protection, or it can act as a shock absorber, we can mention. Okay, so the fluid present between, yeah, here itself. Okay, I did not notice that. So the fluid present between the membrane covering of the heart, so it is the pericardial fluid itself. Yes, yes, that's right. Okay, so now the valve that is present in between the right atrium and then the right ventricle. So this is like, we are just checking how much you have prepared now for your exam. Okay, so since most of you are writing your term to exam now. Okay, yes, very good. So this is between the right atrium and the right ventricle. So it is a tricuspid valve. Okay, so tricuspid valve is there. Okay, yes, very good. So it is tricuspid valve. Okay, so next is the blood vessels that brings blood from the body parts to the heart. So what is the question here? The blood vessel which is bringing a blood, okay, from the body parts to the heart, which is that blood vessel? Yes, veins is mentioned. No, aorta is not. So it is, the blood is coming from body parts to the heart. Okay, so what happens in case of aorta? From aorta, in case of aorta, if we are saying from heart, it is going to the body parts. So here the question is, from body parts it is going to the heart. So it is the vein. So that is inferior and superior vena cava, what we say. So those are the veins. So shall we just check the answers that they have mentioned? So pericardium is there, pericardial fluid, tricuspid valve, and the vena cava. So it is superior and inferior vena cava. So now artery which carries a deoxygenated blood. Yes, so superior and inferior vena cava. So you can just write vein also, it is fine. But since specifically if you are writing, make sure that you write both, you mention both superior and inferior also, or if you just mention vena cava also, that is fine. Okay, Okay, so now the next question, the artery which carries deoxygenated blood. So you know that all the arteries carry oxygenated blood. The exception is the pulmonary artery. Raghavendra said, Akshay said, very good. So it is the pulmonary artery which is an exception that carries a deoxygenated blood. So which is a fluid connective tissue? So this is very simple. Okay, so which is a fluid connective tissue? The element needed for the blood clotting is what? So you can go on answering, so I'll just check it. Well, yes, very good. So it is blood. Okay, so fluid connective tissue is blood. Okay, so then you know the element needed for blood clotting. So they are asking about the element. And the next question says that the minute blood vessels that join arteries and the veins. So this also is very important. Okay, so they can ask, they have asked questions on this as well. So what are those minute blood vessels that join the arteries and the veins? Okay, so now an organ that destroys a worn out red blood cell. So you can type on. Okay, I'll just check your answers. Capillaries, thromboplastin. Okay, so the element needed for blood clotting. Okay, so thromboplastin, thrombokinase, the platelet. Okay, so if they are specifically, so you know when they mention that the element is mentioned. Okay, so they are not asking the cell. Okay, so the platelet is, you know, we platelet or a thrombocyte when we mention, so it is not an element. Okay, so this one element is for the working of a thrombokinase or for a working of a platelet to produce. So once they produce this thrombokinase, okay, so now for this thrombokinase to work, okay, so always a calcium is required. So that is the element. So just observe what is mentioned here. So element, if they mention, you can write calcium. If they are asking what is the cell, okay, or what is the cell, part of a blood which is responsible for blood clotting, then in that case you can write it as a thrombocyte or maybe a platelet. Okay. Okay, so this answer anyway, it is capillary. Very good. So capillaries are the minute blood vessel. Now an organ that destroys worn out red blood cells. Now you know whenever after 120 days life cycle of a RBC is done, you know all this RBC goes to the spleen. So there, you know, further breakdown will be done. Hemoglobin will be taken to the liver. So you know hemoglobin will be producing a bile juice. So now you know organ, basically here we can say that spleen is the one. Okay, so blood vessel that supplies oxygen to the heart. Yes, so liver also can be, spleen also can be. Liver and spleen it is actually. Okay, so you know depending on a part. So now when we mention about a RBC, so you know RBC cell itself is getting degraded in the, or graveyard also we call for a spleen, right? So that means what, the RBC is getting destroyed here in the spleen, then hemoglobin part, what is this? So that goes to the liver. Okay, so you know the organ that destroys the worn out red blood cells, so we can see that spleen also comes, liver also comes, but make sure that you are anyway mentioning spleen, because you know the spleen is called as a graveyard of a RBC, so you need to mention a spleen there. Okay, pulmonary vein, what is the question? So a blood vessel that supplies oxygen to the heart. No, so which is that blood vessel supplying oxygen to the heart? So this is very important. Make a note now itself. Okay, a lot of times this question is repeated. Anybody wants to give an answer for this one? Which is that vessel? That is, yes, very good. So it is the coronary artery. Okay, so coronary sinus also you can mention. So you can just, since it is supplying oxygen, so you better you write it as a coronary artery itself. Okay, so coronary artery is the one that supplies oxygen to the blood, and you know removal of carbon dioxide. Anyway, it is not mentioned in your book, so just for your information I'm saying, so for removal of carbon dioxide. So once you know the heart muscles, what are they? So from there the carbon dioxide has to be removed, right? So coronary vein is collecting that, and you know it will be emptying into the right auricle itself. So that means from heart only it is moving into the heart. So this is not going anywhere else. So coronary artery and the coronary veins are playing a role there. Okay, so now this is with respect to pulmonary vein. So here in the book, so why this is the answer is wrong is, so in text, I mean not the textbook, what is that, together with book, so this is an wrong answer. So if those who are having a together with, so you can make a correction there. So blood vessel that supply oxygen to the heart, so it is actually the coronary one. Okay, so this you can make a correction with your together with book. Okay, so this you can correction. And liver also, make sure that liver you are writing, so that is not a bad thing. Okay, so because hemoglobin is anyway getting degraded there, but make sure that you write a spleen also. So spleen is basically, you might have observed in your textbook also that they have mentioned that this is a graveyard. Okay, so make sure that you add a spleen also there. Okay, so yes, coronary artery supplies blood to the heart wall. So here it is heart wall. So heart, what is the question here is, so to the heart means the muscles of the heart or wall of the heart itself. So it is basically the coronary artery itself, so supplying oxygen. So you can see that the pulmonary vein, it is bringing oxygenated blood. Okay, so it is not supplying oxygen, so it is bringing oxygenated blood to the left auricle, then it will pass to the left ventricle, then it will go to the aorta. Okay, so this answer goes wrong, so you can make a correction over there. So that is with the coronary artery. Okay, so this you can change it there. All right, so moving on to the next one. So the blood vessel, yes, so these are same. Okay, so bicuspid wall and a mitral wall, so one and the same. Yes. Okay, so the blood vessel which has walls in its inner lining. Okay, so blood vessel which has valves in its inner lining, which is that blood vessel where you find a walls or valves, whatever way you pronounce it. So now you know this is a question that you need to know. So you study the different blood vessels, right? So in blood vessels, so they mention, so there is one particular blood vessel that is having a walls. Okay, that is to prevent a backflow. Very good, Ridhima. So it is veins. Okay, so veins are those which are having a walls in its inner lining. Okay, so we will just check this one. So let's confirm. So this is a vein, so that they have given a right one. So now you know blood cells, the deficiency of which causes anemia. Vein. Okay, so it is vein. Yes, so okay, yeah, so blood cells, the deficiency of which causes anemia, which is the one. Yes, very good. You might have, I don't think so you have studied it yet. So have you come across the sickle cell anemia? Basically what happens, the RBC is taking a sickle cell. So let's say this is a disc shaped RBC. Okay, but in case of sickle cell anemia, what is happening, the RBC has taken a sickle shape like this. Okay, and because the RBCs are no more functional, since they cannot carry the oxygen effectively, so that means anemia is there. Okay, so it is sickle cell anemia is different, and if RBCs are not being generated, in that case also we can say it as a anemia itself. So it is RBC. Okay, so next question, the smallest blood vessels, hemoglobin. Okay, so iron hemoglobin that you are saying, so this one is a RBC. Smallest blood vessel is capillary. Okay, so why it is smallest, you can see here. I did not add any gaps. No, okay, here I have added. Okay, so now let's say this is the artery. Okay, so artery will divide, so there is a arteriole formation. So this arteriole will further divide, so there is a capillary formation that we can see. So this is the smallest blood vessel. So now you know these capillaries will all join together, so there is a venule formation that we can see. So this one is a venule, and you know vein formation that we can see. So this one is vein, this one is venule, and this one is capillary. Okay, so this is a arteriole. Okay, and this one is artery. Okay, so now you know these are the smallest blood vessels that we find. So now the category of blood vessel which starts from capillary and ends in capillary. So this is also important. Okay, so lot of times I have seen this question is repeated. the category of blood vessel which starts from the capillary. Okay, it is starting from the capillary. Very good. It is hepatic portal vein. Okay, so hepatic portal is the one, vein is the one that starts from the collecting set of capillary. Then it will go to the liver. So liver, at the liver, so now collecting set of capillary we can find at the gut region. So stomach, intestine, there we can find. Then the vein formation is there, and then there is a capillary, the one which is ending with the capillary, so that is at the liver. So at the liver, distribution of excess amount of nutrient, what is it, so that will be distributed. So that is ends in the capillary, that means it is hepatic portal vein. Okay, so vitamin which is necessary for blood clotting. Yes, it is a portal vein. Just write the full name. Okay, so what you have written is correct. Try to write the full name itself, that is hepatic portal vein. Okay, vitamin L, vitamin K. Okay, so I think it is a typo. Yeah, I got it. So it is vitamin K. Okay, so the vitamin that is necessary for blood clotting, so that is K. Okay, so a genetic disorder in which blood does not clot. So this you have already studied in term 1. Okay, but this since it is related to a blood, so they can ask you this question here also. So the genetic disorder in which the blood does not clot. Yes, very good, it is hemophilia. Okay, so hemophilia is one such disorder. It is a genetic disorder where it is found, it is also called as a royal disease because it was found in the for the very first time in a royal family, that is Queen Elizabeth's family. Okay, so that is why hemophilia can also be called as a royal disorder. Okay, so nearest organ to which the heart supplies oxygenated blood. So this also a lot of times there was a confusion. A lot of teachers also used to get confused with this question. And then when I attended a training of ICSE class evaluation, so they just confirm me this answer. So what is the answer for this one? So it is the heart. Okay, so a lot of people say different parts of a body actually. Head, some will say that it is head, some will say that it is lung, so some different, but it is the heart itself. Okay, so nearest organ to which the heart supplies oxygenated blood, so it is the heart itself because of a coronary artery that is supplying a blood vessel. So where do you think that there is a coronary artery that is there? I'll just show you here. Okay, so how exactly this can be the fastest one, or where how exactly the blood is being supplied. So let's say this is a aorta now. Okay, which is there in the left ventricle. So this is the left ventricle and aorta is here. Okay, so now from this, let's say this one, a semilunar, aortic semilunar valve is there. Then there is a branching that we can see in the aorta itself. Okay, so now let's say here is this heart. So there is these walls are there. Okay, so there is a covering. Okay, one second, what did I draw? Okay, so there is a covering which is there. Okay, so now this branching is occurring. So this is actually the coronary artery. So this moves throughout the walls. Okay, so this is moving throughout the walls. That means first the blood supply will be done to the heart. Okay, so next question, the process by which WBCs engulf bacteria. Very good, it is phagocytosis. Okay, so just correct your spelling, rest of the thing is correct. So I think Ravindra, right? So what you said is correct. So it is phagocytosis. Okay. Okay, so you have written correct spelling on top. So this one is wrong. Okay, I did not notice that. Okay, so that's right. Okay, so but the liver here, liver is not mentioned in 16. Which one you are saying, Ridhima? So ma'am, please, Ravikant is saying something. Ma'am, please, I did not see. Can you explain again? Which one you want me to explain, Ravikant? And what about Ridhima? Portal vein. So portal vein, liver is not mentioned. Okay. So 16th one, right? So if you want me to clear this one, so I'll just explain that. Okay. So now in this case, one second. Okay, so now there is a as you all know that the aorta arises. Okay, so this is basically a artery itself. Then let's say this is a gut, that is mainly we will say that this is a digestive system, which is including stomach, intestine and other things. Okay, so it is basically a digestive system. When the aorta reaches a digestive system, okay, so it is dividing into arteriole first. Okay, then here there is a formation of capillary that we can see at the gut area. Okay, so what exactly is happening? Oxygen supply is anyway being done. Okay, and the first and the foremost thing is absorption that occurs. So all the simple compounds that are produced, so those simple compounds are being absorbed, that is taken into the blood. Okay, so now these capillaries will join. So they have collected a nutrient, they have also collected the carbon dioxide from the tissues. Okay, so from all this tissue the carbon dioxide is taken, the nutrition is also taken. Okay, so now these are joining and there is a venule formation. So this is a venule formation, and then there is a vein formation. Okay, so this is now a hepatic portal vein. What is happening? It is starting with the capillary. Okay, now what will happen? Again this is dividing, again there is a venule formation which we can see. So here let's say there is a liver, so I'll just write it here. Maybe I'm covering that space. I'm not covering, no? Okay, so I'll write it here itself. Just a second. Okay, so now this liver will be here. Okay, so let's say the liver is present over here. So now this venule is further dividing, there is a capillary that forms. Okay, so why exactly this is happening? Any excess amount of nutrient that is there, so that can be given here. So excess amount of glucose can be converted into glycogen in the liver, excess amount of amino acid if it is there, so that amino acid it is broken down into urea. So urea formation can occur. So distribution of different nutrients, so that can also be done through the liver, which is again having a blood supply. Okay, so now this part what you see, so this is a hepatic portal vein which is starting from the capillary and it is also ending with the capillary. So this structure itself is a hepatic portal vein. So it starts with the collecting duct of capillary. So what is the collecting duct of capillary? It is collecting a nutrient. It ends at the distributing set of a capillary. So what is the distributing set here? It is distributing the excess amount of nutrient which is there. So it is giving it to the liver so that glycogen formation, urea formation or a fat storage, everything can be done. So this vein is starting here, ending here. So only this part what you see, so this is a hepatic portal vein. So nowhere else you will find a hepatic portal vein. Is this clear? Any doubt, Ridhima? 18th, so 18th you want me to explain, right? One second, I'll check that. What is the question? So genetic disorder in which the blood does not clot, so that is a hemophilia. Okay, so because of a problem or because of a absence, so that it flows in a family. So let's say a father, okay, or a mother is not having one of the gene for the formation of clotting factor, that is a protein. So clotting factor is nothing but a protein, that is thrombokinase. Even though platelet is there in their body, okay, but the thrombokinase is not being produced by the platelet, or let's say the platelets itself is not there. So in all this, usually platelet itself is not there, won't happen. Okay, so thrombokinase is not produced. In that case, since they have this particular faulty gene, or we can say abnormal gene, so clotting factor is not produced. So this will continue throughout their generation depending on whom they are marrying. So in that case, since the clotting factor is not there, the blood flow won't stop. Okay, so whenever there is a cut in the skin, okay, so there is a continuous blood flow that can be seen. Okay, so now the nearest organ to which, so this is done, this is also done, the opening through which the two auricles open into the ventricle. So two of the auricles, I hope it is clear, Ravikant. Okay, so they are asking about the opening through which two auricles open into the ventricle. So you cannot just say tricuspid or a bicuspid valve here. So you can write both. Okay, so you can write a tricuspid as well as a bicuspid valve, or you can write it as a auriculoventricular valve. Okay, so it is, sorry, what did I, auriculo. Okay, so it is auriculoventricular valve also you can mention. Okay, so now since they are asking two auricles, so if you just write tricuspid, or if you just write bicuspid, so that can go wrong. Okay, so in general you can mention auriculoventricular wall, or you can write both tricuspid and bicuspid wall, and you need to mention right side and left side there. Okay, so or cuspid wall also is fine. Okay, that's right. Okay, so now the instrument used for, so we will have a look at the answers here. So auriculoventricular wall, the vitamin K, hemophilia, the liver, phagocytosis. Okay, so here it is mentioned. Okay, so that's what you were saying, I guess, right? Ridhima was saying it is mentioned liver here. So don't consider this one. So that is why a lot of teachers also, that is why I said this question is lot of, like, it has created a lot of confusion for teachers also actually. But the thing is, the nearest organ to which the heart supplies oxygenated blood is heart itself. So here as they have given, so most of the workbook that you refer, so they have given it as a liver. So make sure that you make a change there. So it is a heart. Okay, so that's why I told this is a confusion, and ICSE evaluation team itself has confirmed this one. So it is a heart. Okay, so you can surely write it as a heart itself. Okay, so now the instrument used for measuring a heartbeat. For measuring a heartbeat, yes, so what is that instrument? Then enzyme essential for blood clotting is asked. So you can have a look at this one, the stethoscope. Okay, so stethoscope, anybody has given the answer? Okay, lot of you have given the answer. So stethoscope is the correct answer. Okay, so it is not lot of you. Akshay is typing multiple times. Okay, all right. So yes, so this one is stethoscope is the answer, which is the machine that measures the blood pressure. So you can write in here. Okay, so this is my question, I mean it is not here anyway. So the instrument that measures the blood pressure, so this can also come for your exam. Very good, it is sphygmomanometer. Okay, so that you can keep a note of. And the enzyme essential for blood clotting, yes, it is thrombokinase. Okay, so now the site of production of RBCs in the adult human, so where exactly RBC is being produced in adult human, that the type of blood group in which both A and B antigens are present. So where exactly do you find A and B antigens? Okay, so now this is with respect to blood group. Then an unstable bright red compound formed between a hemoglobin and a oxygen to carry a oxygen to the body cell. So this you can type in, I'll just check. Blood group AB, bone marrow, yes, that's right, very good. So mainly the red bone marrow, RBC is being synthesized in the red bone marrow, the WBC is being synthesized in a yellow bone marrow. Oxyhemoglobin, yes, so again make sure that you are writing them correctly. So whenever it combines, so hemoglobin combines with the oxygen, so it is oxyhemoglobin. Okay, so if a hemoglobin is getting combined with the carbon dioxide, so in that case it is a carbamino. Okay, so it is a carbamino hemoglobin. If a hemoglobin is combining with the carbon monoxide, it is a carboxyhemoglobin. So this is very important because lot of students get confused between carbamino and carboxy. Make sure that you are not getting confused there. So carbon dioxide, it is carbamino, carbon monoxide, it is carboxy. Okay. Okay, so now this one is a oxyhemoglobin. So let's have a look at the other set of question. Yes. Okay, so the type of blood cell showing amoeboid movement. So this is WBC itself. Okay, So WBCs are the ones you have studied it in class 9 also. So diapedesis will occur, then phagocytosis will occur. So that will all occur because of this amoeboid movement. Okay. So now the process by which leukocytes squeeze out through the walls of the capillaries. I just mentioned the process. You can still write. Yes, so it is diapedesis. Okay. So diapedesis is the process that we can see them. Okay. Yes, so it is WBC. Yes, that's right. So it is diapedesis. And yes, one more thing, make sure that you are writing a correct spelling. So they'll check the spellings also. Don't, never write a spelling, wrong spelling. Okay. So make sure that you are writing all the keywords, concentrating on the spelling also. That is very important. Okay. So the non-nucleated, so which is that non-nucleated mature blood cells in case of mammals. Very good. So this one is RBC. So since there is no nucleus, it is having more of a surface area to carry oxygen, so that oxygen supply will be done efficiently. So the respiratory pigment contained in the human blood. So what is that respiratory pigment? Yes, RBC. Very good. Okay. Yes, very good. So respiratory pigment contained in the human blood. So it is a hemoglobin. So why do we say that it is a respiratory pigment? Because it is the one which combines with the oxygen. It is the one that combines with the carbon dioxide, and a removal will be done with respect to carbon dioxide. Here this is being supplied. Okay. So the site of production of RBC in the human embryo. So you have to make a note here. Human embryo they are asking. So where exactly the RBC is being produced in a human embryo? So a disease in which the number of WBCs increase at the cost of RBCs. Okay. So disease in which number of WBCs increase at the cost of RBCs. Yes, so it is a spleen. Okay. So spleen is where the synthesis of RBC occurs in case of an embryo. Okay. So it is always a spleen. Alright. Yes. So it is a leukemia. Yes. Okay, so you are typing fast, I guess. So maybe that's the okay. So it is leukemia. Okay, so disease in which so this one is leukemia. So spleen in case of adult. Okay, so in case of adult, and in case of the adult also, embryo also. Okay, so whenever we are mentioning, so liver is where the breakdown is occurring, but here some of you have mentioned the liver also, I guess. So make sure that you write both of this. Okay, so spleen and liver. I think who mentioned liver here? 1 second, I'll just check. So Chinmay has mentioned. He has mentioned spleen also. Yes, very good. So it is both spleen and liver. So whenever an embryo is there, so since the bone marrow is not well developed, so be it a red bone marrow or a yellow bone marrow, so development with respect to bone marrow is still occurring. So spleen and liver is already there, so they are the ones that produce a RBC. Okay, so in case of adult, the liver is basically degrading this particular RBC. Okay, so same is done by the spleen also. Okay, so let's have a look at the next chapter. So that is excretory system. Any doubts you have till the circulatory system? You left 31. So I did not mention this one. Okay, 1 second. Let me just check. Okay, so the fluid that transports. Yes, I did not say this one. Yes. So thank you, Chinmay. So the fluid that transports fatty acid and a glycerol. What is that fluid? Yes, very good. So it is lymph. Okay, so lacteal. So we also call that let's say this is a small intestine folding which you see. Okay, and here the blood supply will be done, and there is a lymphatic vessel here. So whenever a fat is there, okay, or a fatty acid as a glycerol. So here let's say in the intestine there is a fatty acid formation, glycerol formation, digestion has occurred. So it will enter the lymphatic vessel first, Okay, so this lymph vessel or a lymphatic vessel, what is it? So this can also be called as a lacteal. Okay, so this can also be mentioned as a lacteal, and that is the one which mainly supplies the fatty acid and glycerol. So this is the answer. Okay, so moving on to excretory system. Okay, I'll show this question. So you can see here, so some of the question that they have mentioned, so these are asked in the previous year also. 1 second. So some previous year questions are there. So organ which produces a urea. Liver, yes. Next I'm going. So organ which produces a urea, very good. So this is liver. So most of them again write it as the kidney, which is completely wrong. Urea production will occur in the liver. Okay, so outer region of the kidney, yes, it is liver. Yes, that's right. Okay, outer region of the kidney, inner region of the kidney is there. Yes, very good. So outer region is cortex region, the inner region is the medulla region. So this is for outer region. So outer is cortex, inner is medulla. Okay, so the main nitrogenous waste in man, so it is urea again. Okay, so this one is a urea itself. In case of a man, when we talk, the main nitrogenous waste that we are removing through our body, so that is urea itself. Okay, so the hormone that helps to increase the reabsorption of water from the kidney, what is that hormone? So you remember, so there are two names that are mentioned in your textbook for this hormone. Okay, so you need to know both the alternate names here, ADH or a vasopressin. Very good. Okay, so yes, you are all well prepared for your exam. So all of you are answering, fast you are answering. So this one is ADH, antidiuretic hormone, or a vasopressin. Okay, so organ that produces urea, so this is the same thing, the repeated question. So it is the liver itself. The process by which metabolic wastes are removed from the body, so it is ADH, yes, vasopressin also, yes. The process by which the metabolic wastes are removed from the body, excretory system, excretion, yes, that's right, excretion it is. Okay, yes, so that's right. All right, so here's spelling you can check on. Okay, so check on the spelling. All right, so next is a tuft of blood capillaries found in the Bowman's capsule of a nephron. So what is that tuft of blood capillary called? Very good, it is a glomerulus. Okay, so structure that brings urine from the kidney to the urinary bladder. So here is a kidney and here is a urinary bladder. So there is a structure that brings urine from this kidney to urinary bladder. What is that structure? Very good, all of you are answering well. Yes, it is a ureter. Okay, so collecting duct is there in the kidney itself. Now they are asking about the kidney and urinary bladder. So between the kidney and urinary bladder we can find a ureter. Okay, so ureter, that is from both of the kidneys. So there is a ureter that is emptying its content. Okay, so main excretory organ in man, which is that main excretory organ in man? Yes, it's kidney itself. Okay, so substance found in excess in the urine of a diabetic person. So now a person is having a diabetes. What is found in excess in a diabetic individual? Okay, very good. So this is glucose. Okay, so let's have a look at, so 10 till 10 we have checked. So liver, let's say 10th one is glucose, ureter, glomerulus, excretion, liver, ADH, liver, cortex, and urea. So everything is correct over here. So let's go to the next question. The blood vessel leaving the kidney, so which is that blood vessel? So now a kidney is there. Okay, so a blood vessel is coming. So this is actually the renal artery. The blood vessel that is leaving the kidney, so what is it? So the one which is leaving a kidney, I need to draw it in blue just for differentiation. So like for color changes. So this is a vein, so which is blue in color. So not blue in color, but it is having a dark blood. Okay, so just for color difference to understand the different vessels, so they have given it in red and blue, okay, or otherwise the blood which is here, so this is not exactly blue, so this is dark red. Here the blood which is there, so that is bright red. Here in vein the blood which is there, so that is dark red, okay, so both are red itself. Yes, so the one which is leaving, so they are asking what is that question, the blood vessel leaving the kidney, so it is the renal vein, okay, so renal vein is the answer for this one. They are asking about the kidney, not about the nephron. So the one which is leaving the nephron can be efferent arteriole, that is Bowman's capsule, not even nephron. The one which is leaving the Bowman's capsule, so that is efferent arteriole. Since they have asked about the kidney, so it is a renal vein itself. Okay. So now moving on to the next one, the term used for Bowman's capsule and glomerulus together. So what is that answer? The term which is used for Bowman's capsule and the glomerulus together. So what do we call that? Yes, Malpighian capsule. Okay, so it is a Malpighian capsule which can be which is a combination of Bowman's capsule and a glomerulus. Okay, so that is, one second, glomerulus itself. Okay, so that we call as the Malpighian capsule. Now the thin membranous sac serving as the reservoir of a urine. So I expect you to answer this one correctly. Yes, what is that reservoir of a urine? So thin membranous sac. A sac is nothing but a bag. Okay, so a bag-like structure is there, which is storing a urine. Yes, very good. So this one is a urinary bladder. Okay, so an organic waste produced by the lungs in case of man. Which is that organic waste produced by the lungs in case of man. Then muscle which guards the urethra. So which is that muscle guarding the urethra. Okay, so in lungs urea is not produced. Okay, let me just show you this. What is that question number? 14 question number. Okay, so you can see this one is the answer. Okay, so I think anybody has given this one. Yes, so Raghavendra has given, Chinmay has given. Okay, so it is the answer. Okay, so let's have a look at this question. A muscle which guards the urethra. So this is a urinary bladder. So there is urethra is there. A sphincter muscle is there which is guarding the opening of this urinary bladder. So what muscle it is? It is the sphincter muscle that guards the urethra. So under the control or under the impulse from the brain. So there is either a relaxation or a contraction that will occur with respect to this sphincter muscle, and urination or a micturition can be done. Okay, so now the process by which kidneys regulate the water content of the body. So this is also important. So this question also, like I remember, so this question was also asked. Yes, micturition occurs once the sphincter muscles are relaxing, or depending on contraction or a relaxation. Yes, very good. It is osmoregulation. Okay, so maintaining the osmotic balance. So that is the osmoregulation. So process by which the kidneys regulate the water content. Okay, so that is the osmoregulation. But since they are specifically asking with respect to kidneys here. Okay, so water content of the body is mentioned here. So let's check the answer here. Okay, so it is the osmoregulation. So lot of them again, since there is a confusion over here, so lot of them get confused between a reabsorption process and a osmoregulation. Here the water content of the body is maintained by the kidney itself, that is by a process of osmoregulation. But the reabsorption, when we mention, this is mainly occurring in order to maintain the same concentration of a blood. So in that case, water, it is not just the water that is being absorbed, glucose and some required amount of vitamins might be there, salts might be there, so that is also getting reabsorbed. So we cannot say that this is a reabsorption. The answer here can be osmoregulation. Okay, so now the excretory products formed by the liver. So this is repeated so many times. So this is urea itself. Now the branch of a renal artery which enters into the Bowman's capsule. So this you can answer. Okay, so Chinmay wants me to explain this one, right? The Osmo Regulation. So I'll explain that. Okay. So now here is this PCT. Okay, and there is Henle's loop, and then there is DCT. So this one you can find a Bowman's capsule. Okay. So now reabsorption when we mention, so there is actually this particular part. So thickened blood which is leaving through this Bowman's capsule, that is efferent arteriole which is leaving here. So this will have a thicker blood because most of the fluid part which was there, so that got collected here. Okay, and it will start entering this PCT, then Henle's loop and DCT. So we don't want this blood to be thicker. So in order to maintain the normal concentration of a blood, okay, so this is for normal concentration of a blood, what exactly is happening? So this efferent arteriole is dividing, secondary set of capillary formation we can see. Okay, so here the reabsorption process will occur. So reabsorption process when we mention, it is to maintain the normal concentration of a blood with respect to water, with respect to glucose, and not just water here. So it is it will include glucose. So some vitamins are getting reabsorbed if if all of them are filtered there, and some salts will also get reabsorbed. So only if a excess of salt is there, so that will get removed. Only if a excess of vitamin is there, so that will get removed. So same with glucose or a water. Okay, so whatever is in excess, so that will be removed to maintain a normal concentration of a blood, because here the blood which is leaving is thicker. Okay, so in that case, to maintain that normal concentration, selective reabsorption process, only a little, okay, only a required amount of water is being absorbed, so that we call as a selective reabsorption or a reabsorption process. Now when we mention about the kidney overall, okay, so osmoregulation, so that is maintaining the water content of the body. So how much has to be removed? So this is only related to the water content here. Okay, so not related to glucose, vitamin or a salt. So just to maintain the water content. So if you observe, if you drink lots of water, so there is lot of urinations, your kidney is removing that excess amount of water. So that we call as a osmoregulation. Okay, so is this clear? Yes, so the answer for this one, I'll just clear this up, just a second. Okay, which is that? So branch of renal artery which enters, yeah, so it is a branch of renal artery which is entering the Bowman's capsule. So it is the afferent arteriole, the one which is leaving the Bowman's capsule, so that is the efferent arteriole. Yes, Chinmay, is this clear? Any doubt? Yes, okay. Alright, so now name any two organic constituents of a normal urine. So what is that organic compound that we can find in a normal urine? So you can write any of the compounds that you can find. Urea, uric acid, certain cases ammonia can also be there. Okay, so these are all the nitrogenous waste. So creatinine is also correct. Yes, so that's also right. Okay, yes, yes. Yes, that's correct. Okay, yes, so moving on to the next one, the blood vessel supplying blood to the kidney. Okay, so I think this is already done. So supplying blood to the kidney, so it is basically, you can see here, I think the question number is 20. So again there might be certain confusion. So now they are asking about the kidney here directly. Okay, so blood vessels supplying blood to the kidney, so they can, in certain cases they can ask aorta, okay, which is supplying a blood to the kidney. So what is that aorta called? So that in that case we can say that it is a dorsal aorta, the one which is coming downward, that is towards the back side, because you can find a kidney on the back side, not on the front side. So dorsal is on the back side. Okay, so dorsal aorta does that. So you can also say that, but here for this question anyway, the blood vessel supplying a blood to the kidney, it is the renal artery itself. Okay, so now the outer part of a kidney containing the Bowman's capsule. So what is that outer part of a kidney which is having a Bowman's capsule? Yes, so dorsal sorts from left ventricle. Yes, So aorta itself is coming from a left ventricle. Yes, so it is cortex. Okay, so now if we observe a cross section, okay, so let's say this is a kidney. So you know this is a medulla region. This particular cortex region, when we mention, so this will have PCT, this will have a Bowman's capsule, this will have a DCT. Okay, so Henle's loop and you know the collecting duct we can find in this medulla region, that is arranged in this pyramid. Okay, so what exactly the medulla region will have? So it will have a Henle's loop and the collecting duct. Okay, so now okay, so this is done. The form in which the glucose is stored in the liver, what is that form? Please tell 11 again. Where is that 11th question? The blood vessel leaving the kidney. Blood vessel leaving the kidney. I'll explain this. So now this is a kidney. Okay. So blood vessel is coming to the kidney. Okay. So that is the renal artery. Renal is what? Kidney. And artery is coming to the kidney. That is to supply a oxygenated blood. Okay, and also it is carrying impurity, so that is to remove the impurity and also to supply oxygen. A blood vessel is coming to the kidney, so that we call as a renal artery. Why do we say artery? Because oxygen supply is also being done. Okay, now there is a blood vessel that leaves this kidney, so it is a renal vein. So why it is a renal vein? Renal is again a kidney, so it is leaving a kidney and it is a vein. So once the oxygen supply is done and impurity is removed, that is urea, creatinine, uric acid, excess salt, so once that is removed, so blood which is leaving is actually a deoxygenated blood, because all the nephrons have given a lot of carbon dioxide there. So you know carbon dioxide is collected, so that means it is a deoxygenated blood itself which is collected by the renal vein. So in that case the blood vessel which is leaving the kidney is a renal vein. Okay, loop of Henle is present in the medulla region. Yes, so loop of Henle is present in medulla region. Please tell where is loop of Henle. So loop of Henle is this one. Okay, so this is a medulla region now. Okay, so in medulla region you can find there is a pyramid. Okay, so renal pyramids you can see. So this structure pyramid what you see here. Okay, so this itself is having a loop of Henle. Okay, so this itself is having a collecting duct also. So there is a collecting duct, there is a loop of Henle, so both are there in this renal pyramid itself. Okay, and you know after all of these, you know, there is a joining of a space. So this region what I have written, so here we can say, even though it is a center part itself, so this region we actually call as a pelvis. Okay, so this is a pelvis area where you know collecting duct, once the urine is collected there, so into this pelvis area there is, you know, the urine emptying will be done. So let's say here is this collecting duct, and you know urine from all of this is coming into this pelvis area, then ureter is connected, so into ureter this will be transported. Okay, so yes, the form in which the glucose is stored in the liver. The structure and the functional unit of a kidney. So which is last question is the collecting duct and loop of Henle in the medulla. Yes, good evening. Okay, yes, it is glycogen. Okay, so it is glycogen, that's right. So I read somewhere that I think Chinmay said that it is endocrine system. Yes, anyway, this one is anyway not an endocrine system. So structure and functional unit of a kidney is nephron. Okay, so it is nephron, and this one is the answer for this one is glycogen. So let's go to the next one. I think we are done with this chapter then. Yes. So I'll go with the next question. So all of these answers what you have given, so these are right. Okay, so let's start with the nervous system and a sense organ. So let me just check the time, just a second. What time did I start? 5:15 I started class, no? Okay, anyway I have time today, I'll complete this. Okay, all right, so where is renal column? So what is that renal column? Are you asking about the renal calyces, the major calyces or the minor calyces? Are you asking about that? So now this one is a renal pyramid, and these are the calyces. So you see these spaces, right? So those are the calyces, okay. And this one will have a collecting duct as well as a Henle's loop. Okay, so let's get started with the next one. Nervous system and sense organ. So both the questions are included in here, okay. So you can see, again note down here, the particular questions are asked in year 2017, 2014 and 2016. Okay, so make a note of this, and I'll also highlight some questions which are repeated. Just a second. Okay, so now the kind of lens required to correct a myopia. So do you find the nervous system easy or difficult, or any with respect to the sense organs also defect? Make sure that you are studying the lenses, what type of a lens can be used for a correction. Okay, so concave lens, which book is it? So this is Together With. Okay, so all the questions that I have added here, so this is from a Together With. So you can also refer this book. So this is good. Here and there slight mistakes are there, so that you can correct on your own when you study. Anyway, you cannot completely depend on any of these workbooks. Okay, so first and foremost thing is that you always need to read your textbook, Selena textbook. Okay, so mainly again Selena textbook is important. So you refer a Selena textbook, then you can compare the answers. So go for the some mistakes will be there when we say a book. Okay, they'll try to avoid any mistakes if they are there, but some cases the mistakes will be there, so you can just correct it. So once you are perfect with the Selena, you can make changes on your own, so that you don't make any wrong answers, or you don't give any wrong answers. Okay, so the kind of lens required, so you can see this is a concave lens. Okay, so the kind of lens required to correct a myopia. Okay, so there is a concave lens, the part of a brain which is concerned with the muscular coordination in the body. Difficult? Yes, I am from South India. I am from Bangalore. Okay. So part of a brain which is concerned with the muscular coordination in the body, which is that? Cerebellum. Yes, very good. Okay, so a part of a brain associated with the memory. So which is that part which is associated with the memory? So there is memory, then logical reasoning, thinking. Yes, very good. It is the cerebrum. I think, 1 second, I'll just pin it. Okay, all right, so now the part of the brain is associated is cerebrum. Okay, so this one is cerebrum, this one is cerebellum. Okay, so this one is cerebellum, the part of a brain that carries impulse from one hemisphere of the cerebellum to the other. So they are asking about a part of a brain which is carrying an impulse from hemisphere of a cerebellum, not the cerebrum, cerebellum. What is that? Very good. So yes, very good. So this one is pons. Okay, so pons is the one that carries the information from one cerebellum hemisphere to the next one. Okay, so that is the other cerebellum hemisphere. So the structure for the alteration of the shape of the lens. So what is that structure for the alteration of shape of the lens? So what do we call that? Yes, very good. So it is a ciliary muscle. Yes. So ciliary body along with the suspensory ligament. But yes, you can write ciliary muscle or a ciliary body itself, because that is the one which is contracting, and based on the contraction and relaxation, the suspensory ligament, what is there? So that also moves, and the lens, what is there? So either it can become thicker or it can become thinner. Okay. So ciliary muscle is the right answer. Okay. So we will just check answers. So this is pons, varoli, ciliary body or a ciliary muscle, cerebellum, cerebrum, everything. Okay, so moving on to the next one. The structure for the constriction of the pupil in bright light. What is that structure? So constriction of the pupil, pupil is getting constricted, pupil is getting dilated. Okay, so who is controlling that pupil constriction or a dilation? Yes, so iris, the one which is, for iris can be used for individual identification also, because the arrangement of the circular muscle and the radial muscle which is there, so that will be varying. Okay, so based on that, the eye scan, the biometrics when they do, so they'll scan the eye, right? So that is based on the iris itself. So now the one which is altering the shape of the, sorry, not this one, the constriction of the pupil in bright light, or it can be with respect to dark light also, the constriction and dilation will occur. So answer for this one is iris. Okay, so the nerve which transmits impulse from eye to the brain. So eye to the brain, the impulse that is being transmitted. Okay, I think there is some noise in my area. Just a second, let it pass. Yes, so it is optic nerve. Okay, so structure for the constriction of the pupil in bright light. So it is optic. One second, I read the wrong one. So nerve which transmit the impulse from eye to the brain. So it is the optic nerve. Am I audible? So there is actually some noise. Okay, so the unit of nervous system. So what is that unit of nervous system? Optic nerve is correct answer. Yes, very good. Yes, I am audible, right? Okay, so I think now it is gone. So unit of nervous system. Okay, so that is the neuron. Okay, so neuron is the unit of nervous system. Neuron which carry the impulse from receptor to the brain. So from receptor, the impulse is carried to the brain or a central nervous system when we mention. What is that neuron called as? Very good. It is a sensory neuron. Yes, so this one is a sensory neuron which is, taking the impulse from any of the sense organ, be it a eye, be it a nose, be it a tongue, so be it a skin, okay, be it a ear. So any of the sense organ, it is taking the impulse and it is carried to the brain. So that is a sensory neuron. So neuron which transmits the impulse from brain to the effector organ. So what is the effector organ here? And what is that neuron? Yes. Very good. So it is motor neuron. Okay. So what is another name for sensory neuron or a motor neuron? Sensory neuron, motor neuron. So there are alternate names that are mentioned. So you need to know that as well. No idea. Sensory neuron is called something else. Motor neuron is called with one more name. Yes, this answer is anyway motor neuron. Okay, so this is a motor neuron. No idea on this one. Okay, so I'll just say this. So sensory can also be called as afferent neuron. Motor can also be called as efferent. Okay, so this one is afferent, this one is efferent. Okay, so this is efferent neuron, this is afferent neuron. Effector organ is what? Effector organ is muscle or it can be gland. Okay, so for hormone production and for the action, for the response, a muscle is gonna move, or mainly for the one second or it can be for hormone production, sweat production, saliva production, tear production, so any of the glands. So basically effector is the motor neuron is taking the impulse to the effector. Okay, so now with respect to yes, afferent and efferent neuron, yes, that's right. Okay. Okay, so now with respect to what is, yeah, so lower part of the brain which contains reflex center, what is that? Which contains reflex center. So we will just check some question. I think I answered everything over here. All right, we covered, right? So most of it. Concave, this is done, this is done. Okay, all right, so the question, next question says what? Which is that question now? I think, okay, so lower part of a brain which contains reflex center. So what is that reflex center? So you already know about this one. So whenever a reflex action has to occur, okay, yes, so it is the spinal cord, okay. So now they have asked a reflex center, that means it is the spinal cord. So in some cases, no, they'll ask which is that lower part of a brain which contains a cardiac center or a respiratory center. So if they are asking a cardiac center or a respiratory center, in that case it is a medulla oblongata, okay. So medulla oblongata controls the internal organ activity. So in that case what is happening, all this heartbeat, breathing mechanism, peristalsis, okay, so all those are being controlled. So there are different centers that we can find in the medulla oblongata. Okay, so since they are asking about a reflex center, so it is completely a spinal cord itself. Okay, so number of spinal nerves in a man. So what is that number of spinal nerves? Yes, so spinal cord is correct for this one. I'll just erase this part. So too much I have written. 1 second. Okay, so number of spinal nerves in a man. So what are those? My nervous chapter is not completed. So Chinmay, you are in class 10, right? I mean writing your exam. So do it fast if you haven't completed yet. So just revise once. Maybe you might have studied, maybe you don't remember. So you can revise it once because your exams are here in April itself. So make sure that you revise everything well. Okay, anyway I'll send this one so you can also practice because I have not added any answers beside over here. So you can practice also. I'll just send this PDF on my channel, that is Vani Kari ICSE class 9 and 10. You can search on Telegram. So there you can find my channel. So I'll send it by Sunday. Okay, so by Sunday I'll send most of the PDF that I have taken classes on. Okay, so you can join in that. Okay, yeah, so it is 31. Okay, so number of spinal nerves in man is 31 pair. Okay, so make sure that you are writing 31 pairs are there, because one is going here, one is going here, so they are always in a pair. Okay, so now the middle coat of the eye, that is soft and it is vascular and it is thin layer. What is that middle coat? Yes, what is that middle coat of a eye or a middle layer of a eye? So make sure again, one more tip that I would like to suggest in every class. Also I suggest whenever I am talking about a eye structure. Okay, so you need to draw 3 layers, right? So sclera, choroid and a retina. So a lot of students, like when I was there for evaluation, what they have done is, this is 3 layers according to them, but according to evaluation this is not 3 layers, these are just 2 layers. Okay, so only you are showing sclera and a choroid here. Okay, so choroid is shown, so you are not showing a retina. So whenever you are drawing a eye structure, make sure that you draw 4 lines. So this I keep repeating because a lot of students lose mark only. So even though they have done every diagram correct, just because of these 3 lines they lose a mark. So make sure that you draw 4 lines to represent 3 layers. So retina also you would show. Okay, yes, Akshay Kamath, not a single wrong. Yes, Akshay Kamath is has studied well. Okay, every one of you have studied well actually. Yes, it is choroid itself. Okay, it is choroid itself. Like I can see most of you, I mean Ridhima is giving answer, Jyoti, Akshay. So Chinmay was also giving answer. But now as soon as the nervous system came, you slowed down. Okay, so just make sure that you are revising that chapter. Okay, so now the middle coat of the eye is this choroid itself. So it is supplied with the blood vessel. It is having what it is, it is having a melanin content also, which will prevent the scattering of the light inside this eye. Okay, so melanin is present. Now sensitive cells present in the retina. What are those sensitive cells? Yes, so eye diagram I think is not there for drawing. Previous years and all, eye diagram was given. Okay, for drawing also it was given, but need to check once. Okay, I'll confirm on that. Okay, so rods and cones are the, yes, so rods and cones are the cell. Don't write it as rhodopsin or iodopsin, because that is not a cell, that is a pigment which you can find in rods and cones. Okay, so since they are asking a sensitive cell, okay, or a sensory cell also they can mention, so in that case you can just write it as a rods and cones. Okay, so rod will have a pigment called as rhodopsin, okay, and cone will have a pigment called as iodopsin. So based on that only this is a cell and this is a pigment. So since they are asking a cell, you need to write a cell itself. Now smallest bone in the human body, what is that? What is the smallest bone in the human body? Can you take a session for nervous system? I think I have already done, so you can watch the recording that is there on YouTube. Okay, so some sessions I have taken a session for eye also, I have taken a session for the ear also, then central nervous system, neuron, everything I have taken. Okay, so you can just check that once, everything is taken. But complete complete chapter I might have not taken, because only a certain percentage we are doing on YouTube or a special classes. So if you take a subscription, in that case a complete will be covered. So this is how it works. Okay, so anyway you are all in class 10, like you are writing your exam. So if you are planning to take the subscription, maybe you can take for class 11 or 12. Alright, so this one is a stapes, okay, so which is also called as a stirrup. Very good. Okay, so stapes or a stirrup is the one you have watched it. Okay, you are saying about the sessions. Yes, so you can it is available, so you can watch the recording that is there for the nervous system. Okay, okay, so moving on. Okay, so this one is a stapes, the other name is a stirrup. Okay, so biological term or the regular name that you need to know. Okay, so now moving on to the next one, the most important part of the nervous system. What is that? What is that most important part of the nervous system? I feel everything is important. Yes, a stapes or a stirrup. Yes, that's right. So what is that most important part? Everything is important, right? In brain or in spinal cord, each and every part is required. Brain. Okay, so it is a brain. 1 second, this question 15. Okay, so 15 is repeated here, no? So same one. Okay, so most important part of a nervous system is brain. Now brain, when we mention, again that is made up of a neuron itself. So spinal cord also, if we are mentioning, it is again made up of a neuron itself. Why exactly brain is important is, there are certain regions there. Okay, so medulla oblongata is present, which is controlling the internal activity. Okay, so brain, when cerebrum part when we consider, so that is controlling the logical reasoning, then thinking, hearing, then the tasting. Okay, so smell, so hearing also, vision also, so different functions are there, memory also. So all that is associated with the cerebrum. So based on that, so if the brain itself is not there, only a spinal cord is there, neuron is present. Okay, so function would not occur, because most of the parts that are there associated with memory and other things, so that is involved with the brain. So that is why the most important part of the nervous system is brain. Each and every part is also important, but again among them it is brain. Okay, so the membranes covering the brain and the spinal cord, yes, very good, it is meninges. Okay, so meninges is the one, or meninges are basically the coverings, and there is a dura mater, then there is arachnoid, there is pia mater that you need to remember. So all of these are covering. So let's see, here is this brain. 1 second, I'll draw here. Okay, so let's see, here is the brain. Okay, so this brain is over here having the pons, and medulla oblongata is present. There is a pia mater, so there are convolutions which you will be showing. Okay, so convolutions you will show. So pia mater is there, which is the innermost one. Okay, so then it is vascular in nature. Then you can also find there is a arachnoid. Okay, so next to this one you can find a arachnoid there. Okay, So then, you know, next to this you can find there is a structure called as dura mater, or a membrane called as a dura mater. So now, you know, between these membranes, what would be the fluid that is there? So between these membranes you can find a fluid. What is that fluid? So those are the meninges or a covering. Okay, so these coverings, what are they? So this can also be called as a meninges. So CSF, okay, so CSF is present between the membrane, that is cerebrospinal fluid. So what is the meaning of this one? That means it is covering the cerebrum part. It is also covering the spinal cord. You know, it will continue. This is completely covering the spinal cord also. So it is not just covering the brain, okay, so it is covering the spinal cord as well. So it is the CSF. So here CSF is there present between these membranes, so that is a cerebrospinal fluid. Okay, so this is done. Yes, so cerebrospinal fluid. Okay, so now response to a stimulus without the intervention of the will of an animal. Okay, so now response to a stimulus is there. So there is a stimulus and we can see a response without the intervention of the will of an animal. So what is the meaning of this one? Then next question is the point in the center of the retina. Okay, so center of the retina, so there is a point. Okay, so where the rods and cones are highly concentrated. Yes, that's right. So it is a reflex action, you know, without the intervention of the will. So if we are doing particular action with the will, so that we call as a voluntary action. The one which is done without the intervention of our will, so that means it is an involuntary action, which can be a reflex action. So that's right. Okay, so yes, so this one, the point in the center of the retina where rods and cones are highly concentrated, so that is basically a yellow spot. What are the alternate names that are there for yellow spot? So one neurotransmitter that you can mention. Yellow spot is correct. Yes, yellow spot is correct. Okay, so that is a point in the center of the retina is yellow spot. So you need, yes, very good. It is a macula luteum, and you know, macula lutea itself. The first one what you said, so that is right. Okay. Yes, so it is acetylcholine. So for this one is acetylcholine. Okay, so neurotransmitter in certain cases, you know, the epinephrine or adrenaline hormone can also act along with the acetylcholine. So that can also be, you know, certain cases associated with the neurotransmitter. But mainly you can write it as acetylcholine, which they have mentioned clearly in your book. Okay. So it is an acetylcholine is a neurotransmitter. Okay, so only one name, you know, for yellow spot. Okay, so it is, you know, yellow spot is also called as a macula luteum. This is also called as a yellow spot. This is also called as a fovea centralis. Okay, so fovea centralis, macula lutea, and a yellow spot. So now defect of the eye in which distant objects are not seen clearly. So what is that? So this defect of the eye in which, what is the time? Let me just check once, because I have one more session to go also. Okay. Okay, so now, you know, defect of the eye in which the distant objects are not seen clearly. So that means it is a short-sightedness. So what is that short-sightedness? It is a myopia. Very good. Okay, yes, that's right. Okay, so now the nutritive layer of the eye, which also prevents reflection of the light, which is that nutritive layer of an eye, and also it prevents the reflection of a light. So just now I said about this one. Yes, very good. Okay, so if you are writing it for short, that is fine, or otherwise kindly concentrate on your spellings. Okay, so it is a choroid. Okay, so very important, why I am repeating the spelling is important. So if you are writing a wrong spelling, so that is not expected, I mean accepted. ICSE evaluation, so you all might have idea. Okay, so even though you feel that you have written correct answers, most of the ICSE students do not score well. So that is mainly because such silly mistakes also they usually do not ignore. Okay, so all this will be taken into consideration. So make sure that you are writing a correct one. Okay, yes, so choroid is correct one. Okay, so now you corrected it. Yes, very good. So it is choroid. Okay, so choroid is the layer that we can find. Okay, so now moving on to the next one, defect of the eye in which near objects are not seen clearly. So nearby objects are not seen clearly. So what is that? So this one is the long sightedness. Okay, is it long sightedness, right? Okay, we will check some answers which is mentioned. Okay, I think myopia is done, choroid is done, so it is a hyperopia or a hypermetropia or a long sightedness. Okay, so next one answer given is orbit, that is the socket. So here a bony socket in which the eye is well protected, so that we call as the orbit. A small opening in the center of the iris is what? So that is a pupil. Okay, so small opening will be there, so that small circle. So let's say here is the eye. Okay, so you can see this circle, and there is a small opening. So here you can find a radial muscles that are there. Okay, and there are circular muscles also which you can find. Okay, so now in both of these cases there is the radial muscle is present, circular muscle is present. The pupil is the small opening that we can find in the center of the iris. So this is the one. Okay, so now inner sensitive coat of the eyeball. So what is that inner sensitive coat of the eyeball? So we will just make it fast because I have a session to go also. Okay, I'll just show you the answers as well. So the inner sensitive coat of the eyeball is which one? So it is the retina, which is having cones and rods. Why it is sensitive? Because this is having a sensory cells. Okay, so there are sensory cells that are present, and because of these sensory cells only, okay, one second, it is very like it can take the light easily. So receptors, so these are like a receptors only which can take up the any of the stimulus easily, and this is a sensitive one because mainly with these cells only we can observe things. Now the organ of hearing. So what is that organ of hearing? So organ of hearing is ear. Okay, so specifically if they are asking again a part of a ear which is responsible for hearing, then in that case you can write it as a cochlea. Okay, so cochlea is one. So now organ of hearing that they have asked, so it is here, you can go with the ear. So now the structure of the ear which helps in the balancing of the body. Yes, what is that structure which is balancing the body? No idea? So semicircular canal, but this is only when a person is having a when he is having a movement. Okay, so when he is moving, but we can also write semicircular canal, sacculus. Okay, utriculus also we can write. So this is when you are in a static condition. So in static condition also balance has to be maintained. So you can write semicircular canal. So both of these together you can also mention this as a vestibule. Okay, so this can also be vestibule. So semicircular canal is fine. So that is as they have mentioned. So structure of the ear which helps in the balance of the body. Semicircular canal, at least you are writing. With that, if you write vestibule also, no problem, you can write that as well. Okay, so now jelly like material filled in the space between the lens and that retina. What is that jelly like fluid? So I have repeated this in my class also. Jelly like fluid which is there. So there is a watery fluid, there is a jelly like fluid. Okay, so what is that jelly like fluid and what is that watery fluid? Is my I think I'm audible, maybe I think there is some lag is there, I guess. Yeah, so it is vitreous humor. Okay, so vitreous humor you can find in vitreous chamber. Aqueous humor you can find in a aqueous chamber. Okay, so this aqueous humor is a watery fluid, vitreous humor is a jelly like fluid. Okay, so fluid filled in the space between the cornea and the lens. So this is the one I already said, this one. So it is the aqueous humor, so that is the watery one. Yes, very good. Okay, I think some more questions are there. So many questions I have added. Anyway, all right, so we will discuss that until I have a time. Okay, so now the structure. Okay, so the structure that protects the eyeball. Okay, so there is a structure which is protecting the eyeball and it is maintaining its shape. So what is that structure? Yes, so aqueous humor for the previous one, I get it. Yes, very good. Yes, so what is the structure that is protecting the eyeball and maintaining its shape? So same answer maybe you can give. So that is with respect to vitreous humor itself. Okay, so vitreous chamber is there which is having a vitreous humor, so that is maintaining the shape of the eyeball, so it is a vitreous humor. So let's check the answer for this one. Aqueous humor anyway you mentioned. So now they are asking structure that protects. So sorry, so they are asking about a structure, not the fluid. So structure, so if they are asking, yes, one more thing, so here I itself got confused. So when they mention a fluid, so you can write a vitreous humor. Okay, so now they are asking a question that a structure, that means it is a part of a ball, eyeball itself. In that case, the outermost layer, so outermost layer is what? A sclera is there. So this is providing a particular structure, so this is also providing a particular protection because this is the outermost layer and this is the fibrous layer. Okay, so this is fibrous connective tissue which is protective in nature and for maintaining of eye shape. So here vitreous humor is present, that is if it is completely full. Okay, so when it is completely full, so in that case the shape of the eyeball can be maintained. Okay, so in that case a proper image formation, that is real and inverted image formation, that we can see exactly at the yellow spot, that is at the center of the retina. Okay, or otherwise if the vitreous humor is reduced, what will happen? So lengthening of the eyeball can be seen or maybe shortening of the eyeball can be seen. So that is with respect to the fluid. So now the structure is there, a layer is there which is responsible for filling that up. So now let's say if a balloon is there okay, so that balloon will allow you to fill a water only to that extent, to the extent where elasticity is there. Okay, so if you are filling more and more, so it will burst open, right? So now sclera is one such thing, so it will allow you to fill this particular vitreous humor only until that it is full, and after that it is basically providing a particular shape and then a protection is also being provided. Okay, so now the structure that has a sensory organ called as the organ of Corti, which is that? Yes, that's right, so it is cochlea. Okay, very good Aditya. So this one is cochlea. Okay, so cochlea is having a organ of Corti which is placed on the basilar membrane of a cochlea. Okay, so now defect of the eye caused due to the uneven curvature of the cornea. 33rd. Just a second, I'll drink water so you all can type this 33rd answer. Okay, just a second. No idea. The defect of the eye caused due to uneven curvature of the cornea. Where do you find the uneven curvature of cornea? Okay, So you can type in. All right. Now the parts of the autonomic nervous system. So what is that part of a autonomic nervous system? The nerve which transmits. So you can just put in number and answer. Okay. So nerve which transmit impulse from ear to the brain. Okay. So which is that part of a, which is that part or which is that nerve which is transmitting the impulse from ear to the brain? Okay, so you can just type in your answer, that is with the number. Okay, so this one you are saying yes, this one is astigmatism. Okay, so uneven curvature you can see, so that is with respect to astigmatism. And what is the correction factor? So correction factor is cylindrical lenses can be used. Okay, so part of a autonomic nervous system. So what is that part of an autonomic nervous system? So sympathetic, parasympathetic, but let me just check what they have mentioned. So same thing is mentioned. So sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous system. Okay, so this comes under the autonomic. Now the nerve which transmit the impulse from ear to the brain, so it is the auditory nerve. Okay, so next is a part of a brain which controls the activities of the internal organs. So this I already said. So they can give you the one which is controlling the internal organ, or a lower part also they can mention. So this one is the medulla oblongata. Okay, so now the photosensitive, yes, you are writing answers here. Okay, so it is auditory nerve. Yes. So medulla oblongata is the one. Okay, because it is having a cardiac center, it is having a respiratory center. So digestive, the peristalsis movement that we see. So in that case also there is a center which is regulating all of this internal organ activity. So it is a medulla oblongata. Now the photosensitive pigment present in the rod cells in the retina. So what is that photosensitive pigment present in the rod cells? Yes, very good. So this one is rhodopsin. Okay, so rhodopsin is a pigment which we can find in rods, and in case of cones it is iodopsin. So the type of image formed on the retina, so this I already have written here. So it is a real image and it is an inverted image in case of retina, but when it is taken to the brain through the optic nerve, the brain is gonna upright that image. Okay, so in retina image formed is inverted image. Now when it is taken to the brain, so brain is gonna upright, and that is how we can see this image. Okay, so brain is gonna interpret that upright. So the at the retina it is a real and a inverted image. So now taste, for which the back of the tongue is most sensitive. So this you need not go about, they won't ask, because tongue anyway they have given out of syllabus itself. The part of the brain which helps in maintaining the balance of the body. Okay, so part of a brain, anyway if you know this you can answer, doesn't matter, but I just said because usually the taste bud they are not asking anything as such. Okay, even the olfactory, nose also they are not asking. So part of a brain which helps in maintaining the balance of the body, so it is cerebellum. Okay, so now cerebellum is there, so real, inverted, diminished also you can mention, but if you just write this also it is sufficient. Okay, so you need not mention diminished there, because this might not be clear. Okay, so interpretation by the brain has to be done. So after that we can see a proper imaging. So bitter taste it is given for the last question, the other question. 1 second. All right. Okay, so now the next question is the ear ossicle. So here just I've made the correction here. Okay, so the ossicle need to be added. So ear ossicle which is attached to the tympanum. What is that ear ossicle which is attached to the tympanum? What is tympanum? It is eardrum. Okay, so eardrum is there. Yes, so it is a malleus. Okay, so malleus or a hammer is the one which is attached to the tympanum. The photoreceptor for bright light, which is that photoreceptor cell. Yes, so it is malleus. Okay, so malleus can also be called as a hammer. Malleus, incus and stapes are the biological terms, and hammer, anvil and stirrup, what are they? So these are the regular name based on how exactly they appear. So based on that the name is given. Okay, so now photoreceptor for bright light is, one second, I think I lost a connection. Why is that? Yeah, I got it back. Okay. Yes, so it is the photoreceptor for bright light is the cone cells. Okay, so cones are there and the cones are having a pigment called as iodopsin. For dim light it is basically rods. For bright light it is cones. Okay. Yes, so you can mention the cell photoreceptor that they have asked, not the pigment. So if they are asking a pigment, you can write a iodopsin. Since they are asking a photoreceptor, so it is a cone here. Okay. So now the internal layer of the eye, which prevents the reflection of the light, which is that internal layer where melanin pigment can be found, and it is preventing the reflection or scattering of the light inside the eye. Okay, so that is the layer. Yes, very good. So it is the choroid layer. Okay, so choroid layer is there. Acetylcholine. Acetylcholine is a neurotransmitter. Okay, so now this one is a photoreceptor, the one which receives the signal, the one which receives the stimulus from the outside. Photo, that is light is coming, and it is received by the cones and the rods. Okay, so that is the cones and rods itself. Yes, it is choroid. So many times choroid is repeated. Make sure that you study choroid much in detail. Okay, so now the neuron transmitter stored at the okay, so you are answering for this one. I think Aditya answered for this one. Okay, I got it now. Okay, so the neurotransmitter stored at the terminal end of the axon. Yes, so this is acetylcholine. Okay, so concentrate on your spellings. Okay, so acetylcholine, what you have said is correct, but you have not written acetylcholine, acetylcholine you have written. So concentrate on that because of spelling mistakes. So there is a chance that one can lose a mark. Okay, so make sure you are writing a correct spelling. Okay, so now the fluid that occupies the larger cavity of the eye behind the lens. So this also we have discussed. So this one is the vitreous humor itself. Okay, yes, so Chinmay is back. Okay, all right, so it is acetylcholine is there. Yes, so this one. Okay, so now the eye defect caused due to the shortening of the eyeball from front to the back. So now this is the normal eyeball. If we are saying eyeball is shortened. Okay, so since the eyeball is shortened, so what would be the condition? So what is that eye defect that we call? So you need to know that also. So if a lengthening of a eyeball occurs, what is the condition? What is the shortening? If a shortening has occurred, what is the condition? So both the conditions that you need to know. Okay, so now eye defect that is caused, okay, due to the shortening of the eyeball from front to the back. Okay, so this is that. Then the organ responsible for protecting the eye from sweat, so which is this one. So this also they have mentioned in your book, the organ responsible for protecting the eye from the sweat. Hyperopia, yes, very good. So hyperopia, hypermetropia, yes, that is right. Okay, so what exactly is happening? As the shortening has occurred, image was supposed, so let's say this was the normal size. Okay, so image was supposed to be formed here. So now as the shortening has occurred, okay, so in that case the image formation can be seen after the retina. Okay, so in myopia, before the retina image formation will occur, so somewhere around here. Okay, so we can just show it here. Sorry, here. Okay, so this is a myopia, this is a normal vision, so this is a hyperopia. Yes, so this one is eyebrow. Okay, so eyebrow, rain particle that flow down, I mean rain drops, not rain particle, rain drops that flow down. So in to provide a protection, so basically eyebrows are there. Okay, all right, so endocrine system I'll do, and then I'll end this session. Okay, So only endocrine system, we discussed all those 3 chapters. Okay, so yes, so endocrine system, name the following is given. The form in which glucose is stored in the liver. So this is from endocrine system. Yes, this is from endocrine system because hormone is playing a role. Okay, so a form in which glucose is stored in the liver. So this is a glycogen. Which is that hormone? Yes, hormone, you know, which is that hormone which is making sure that the glucose is stored in the form of a glycogen. Yes, glycogen is the correct answer. A hormone, any idea on hormone which is making this insulin to, insulin is the hormone. Okay, I answered this one. You know, glucose is, you know, converted into this glycogen, so that is by the insulin. Now let's say I have not consumed for a long time period. Okay, so anyway, stored glycogen is there because I had done, so previously I had done lot of overeating, so there is too much of glycogen that is stored because insulin has made sure that all the glucose level is maintained. So this glucose is converted into glycogen. Okay, so you know, in the liver or muscles it can be stored. Now I have not taken a meal for a long time period. Okay, so in that case the glycogen should be broken down and glucose formation will occur. So for that reason, you know, for that glucagon will play a role. Okay, so glucagon will play a role where it will increase the blood sugar level, whereas insulin will make sure that glucose to glycogen conversion is done by the insulin, glycogen to glucose conversion is done by the glucagon. Okay, yes, so it is insulin. Yeah, I'm going to complete nervous system today. Yes, very good. Okay, so let's get with that. So tropic hormone is basically one hormone is released. Okay, and that hormone is regulating the function of other endocrine glands. So now pituitary gland releases a hormone. Okay, and that hormone is regulating many other endocrine glands, so that we call as a tropic hormone. Okay, so now the gland that regulates the calcium in the blood, so which is that gland, which is that hormone, no, which is that hormone which is regulating? So let's check this answer. Okay, so glycogen, pituitary, what is that second answer? Oh, I just skipped this one. Okay, I'm really sorry. So hormone which stimulates the other endocrine glands to produce their specific hormone. Yes, I got what Chinmay was saying. So I skipped this one. So this is a tropic hormone itself, and that is by whom? So it is the pituitary, a master gland itself is doing this one. Yes, that's right. Okay. So now this question, the gland that regulates the calcium in the blood. So they are asking about the gland and not the hormone. Okay, so the gland here is, you know, the calcium maintenance is done by whom? Mineralocorticoid. Mineralocorticoid is produced by whom? Okay, so with respect to, so as such, okay, so they are specifically answering the not in general mineral, so we cannot consider. So anyway, you do not have a parathyroid. Okay, so parathyroid is not there for you, so we cannot go with the mineralocorticoid here. Okay, so that goes wrong if we are considering it as a mineralocorticoid, or otherwise it is the adrenal gland itself when we consider with respect to mineralocorticoid. But you know, since you are not studying about a parathyroid, we cannot consider this, or otherwise the thyroid and the parathyroid also maintain the level of these minerals. Okay, so mainly the calcium level, iodine level is required. So you know, parathyroid and thyroid does that function. But here the question as it says, so only if we are considering this one, so it can be adrenal gland can be the right answer for this one, as you know that the mineralocorticoid does the function of regulation of this calcium level. Okay, so it is the cortisone hormone, so cortisone's hormones. Okay, it is the adrenal gland itself. Now the chemical messenger, so what is that chemical messenger? Yes, anybody, what is the chemical messenger? Now a master gland, this you already know, so it is a pituitary gland itself is a master gland. Okay, No idea on chemical messengers? So chemical messengers are nothing but the hormones. Okay, so hormones are the chemical messengers. Yes. Okay, so next is the condition. Yes, so condition caused due to the hyposecretion of thyroxine in children. So you need to know hyposecretion as well as a hypersecretion disorder for each and every hormone that they have mentioned. So if they have given hypo and hypersecretion both in case of children as well as adult, so make sure that you are not getting confused between the different hormone and their disorders. Okay. So now a condition caused due to hyposecretion of thyroxine in children is given. The hormone which prepares the body for the defense is given. Okay. And the endocrine cells present in the pancreas and the hormone secreted by the thyroid gland. So you can go on typing. I'll just drink water. Cretinism, okay. What about the other answers? So cretinism, child, myxoedema in case of adults. Yes, very good. So condition caused due to hyposecretion. Okay. So hypersecretion. So there is another condition. So hyposecretion is different. Then hormone which prepares the body for defense. It is the adrenaline. Yes, very good. The endocrine cells present in the pancreas. Then hormone secreted by the thyroid gland. So they have given two more questions here. So hormone secreted by the thyroid gland. So it is the thyroxine hormone. Okay. So this one is thyroxine. So rest of it you have answered. The endocrine cells present in pancreas is, yes, very good. It is islets of Langerhans. So there can be alpha cell, beta cell, delta cell. Okay. So beta cell secreting what? It is secreting a insulin. Alpha cell secretes a glucagon and delta cell will look after the somatostatin. Okay. Okay, so now it is a thyroxine hormone. So that is right. So let's check these answers. I think till where we saw 9th, right? So till 9 you can see islets of Langerhans, alpha, beta. So thyroxine is their emergency hormone, cretinism, pituitary. Okay, so this is all right. So moving on to the next one, the hormone secreted by the adrenal gland. So since they are specifically not mentioning whether it is adrenal cortex or adrenal medulla, any of the hormone that you can mention, but the famous one if you write, like most of the time the one which is mainly used is adrenaline, which is working along with the nervous system. Okay, so you can try the adrenaline as well. So if you write glucocorticoid, mineralocorticoid also, that is fine. Okay, so now a condition caused due to over secretion of a thyroxine. Adrenaline, cortisone, yes. Yeah, so now a condition caused due to over secretion of thyroxine, a disease caused due to deficiency of iodine. Okay, then hormone which controls the water exchange in the renal tubule. Okay, so this is with respect to water exchange in renal tubule. So okay, so that is the other one. Now what is the question? The condition caused due to over secretion of thyroxine, it is exophthalmic goiter. So ophthalmic is eye. Okay, X is outside. Okay, so eyes are protruding. Okay, so protruding eyes are there, so that is the exophthalmic goiter. So there is a goiter also can be found. Okay, so now the other one is disease caused due to deficiency of iodine, simple goiter. Okay, so now the hormone which controls the water exchange in renal tubule, so it is a ADH or a vasopressin. Okay, so yes, so ADH, vasopressin, antidiuretic hormone. Okay, so now hormone that controls the basal metabolic rate. Yes, very good. So Akshay has studied all perfect. So yes, not even getting confused between the hormone. That's really great. Yes, so you are ready for your exam then. So this one is thyroxine. So one which is maintaining the basal metabolic rate. Okay, so now the condition which results in abnormally long bones long lower jaw bone due to hyposecretion of a pituitary hormone. So what is that? Very good. So it is acromegaly. Okay, so you can join the community in my, you can join the Unacademy learner app and join my community. I have sent an image of acromegaly. Okay, or you can Google search also, you will anyway find it. So acromegaly is basically these jaw bones, lower jaw bones, what are there? So they'll extend, okay, because of the hormone itself. And in that case, the face shape is going to change, thicker lips can be there. Okay, so different associated conditions are there. Now the hormone associated with the metabolism of carbohydrate, protein, calcium and phosphorus. So which is that hormone? The hormone that controls the calcium content in the blood plasma and its metabolism. Okay, the hormone which regulates the carbohydrate metabolism, the hormone which promotes the reabsorption of water from the nephron. So 16, 17, 18, 19, so you can have a look at this one. Okay, so 16 thyroxine, 17 is calcitonin. Okay, so thyroxine is basically looking a basal metabolic rate, right? So basal metabolic rate is looked by whom? So all the metabolism, so carbohydrate metabolism, protein metabolism, calcium, phosphorus, so each and every metabolism is looked by the thyroxine. Now the calcium content is being maintained, so that is the calcitonin, which you have not studied in detail anyway. So next, the one more is where is that? The hormone which promotes the reabsorption. 19th question, right? What they have given the 19th answer? ADH. Where is the 18th one then? Hormone which regulates the carbohydrate metabolism. So this one, okay, I just skipped this one. So this is with respect to glucose. That means what? It is a carbohydrate itself. It is a monosaccharide. Glucose, when we mention, it is a monosaccharide. So that means it is a carbohydrate itself. That means insulin is the one which is looking at this one. So hormone which promotes reabsorption, so it is ADH or a vasopressin. Now the hormone which increases blood glucose level. Okay, so you can answer for this one now. Okay, so that is 20th one. The hormone which increases the blood glucose level. The father of endocrinology, have they mentioned in your textbook? Have they mentioned like who is the father of endocrinology in Selena textbook? Have they mentioned? Because I haven't noticed that. But yes, a lot of workbooks are having this question, a father of endocrinology, no, right? So then you won't get that. But lot of workbook, Oswal has given this question together with is having. So this is from together with only. Goyal is also having. So I just doubted, if I had not seen this one, they have not mentioned. Okay, well, let's have a look at this one. Next question is the hormone which stimulates the breakdown of glycogen in the liver to the glucose. Okay, so this is, increases the glucose level. So glucagon, Thomas Edison. So I think this one is wrong that they have given. Okay, it is right only. I'm not so sure about that, so you can just Google search once and confirm, okay, because I'm not so sure about the father of endocrinology. I haven't come across, but every book has given this one, so you can just check once. Okay, so the another hormone that we mentioned, the hormone which stimulates the breakdown of glycogen in liver to the glucose. So that means what? Glycogen is being converted into glucose. A blood sugar level is increasing. So in that case, it is a glucagon that is playing a role. If a blood sugar level is decreasing, in that case, it is insulin that plays a role. Okay. So it is glucagon. Yes, so it is last answer. So I don't think, okay, so it is done, right? Okay then, so you can confirm once if you know, that's good. So Thomas Edison, you can confirm once because I'm not so sure about that. I'll anyway check later on. Okay, I'll send this PDF on my Telegram. So that is Vani Kari, you can search. Okay, so Vani Kari ICSE class 9 and 10, you can search on Telegram. Okay, so you can join channel. So by Sunday I'll send most of the PDFs that I have taken class on. So already I have sent few, but a few more which I need to send, I'll send it there. Okay, so you can join the channel. All right, so before I end the session, so let me just say about certain features. So there is a emerge test. So now win 100% scholarship while preparing for your exam. So that is from 9 to 12th 5 p.m. onwards. You are having, that is Saturday, Sunday, then Monday, Tuesday. So you are having maths, biology, maths, physics and chemistry mock test you will have 5 p.m. onwards. So for biology, make a note that it is at 2 p.m. not at 5 p.m. Okay, so there is a gladiators batch. Yes, sure. Thank you, Akshay. Bye-bye. Ankit is asking, ma'am, I need a help. Can you please suggest some question for bio? What kind of, like, these are all questions that I am doing a session. So if you have watched any of the recording, I have done diagram based question session from all the chapters. Then give reason question, everything I have done. So anything that you want me to do, any other, like any type of question, so I'll do that. Yes. From nervous system, what you want me to discuss? Okay, every chapter. So you want me to go with the MCQs? Or all the type of question? So you can refer, some I have done already, Ankit. Okay, so some I have already done, so you can refer those videos. And also you can join this channel, that is Vani Kari ICSE class 9 and 10. I'll anyway send the PDF. You can look through these questions. Okay, so I'll send the PDF that some I have already sent, so you can find these questions. So I have sent a PDF, so this also I'll send, so you can just refer them. Okay, all type of questions. So diagram I have discussed, the give reason I have discussed, the function, location location is done. So MCQ also I have discussed for some, so you can just check it out. Okay, all right, so now this is a mock test and there is a gladiators batch. So if you are taking a subscription for class 10, you will be getting subscription for class 11 and 12 also absolutely free. And this one, all the subjects are being covered, and the start date was yesterday. So still you have a time, you can still take a subscription with the referral code VANIYT, where you will be getting 10% discount on the subscription. Okay, and mainly here, since it is started yesterday itself, you have an option of watching a recording also. So if you are planning to complete class 10 with Unacademy, so you can go for the subscription today itself, as there is one more batch also that is coming. So that is the Titans batch. Okay, so for ICSE class 10, so the 13th of April this is gonna start, and this champions batch is an ongoing batch itself, and this is for term 2. So those who are writing exam, anyway you have hardly 15 days left, so you can prepare well for your exams anyway. Okay, so you can attend the sessions also. Now introducing a community. So we have already introduced a community, so where you can never miss on any update from your favorite educator, get session notes and practice material there, share your feedback directly with the educator via poll. Okay, so this is also done. So check out the link to the educator community below. Okay, so Bugs Bounty, opportunity for all learners to report any inappropriate content in the video. So be the first one to report a particular issue to claim your prize. Report any inappropriate content using the form in the description. So how you can watch? Okay, so all right, so how you can watch my special classes? So you can download the Unacademy Learner app, click on the get started, then enter your mobile number and the OTP, sign up using your email ID. Then you can also select the class 6 to 12. Then you can select your category ICSE. Then you can prefer, depending on which language you prefer to learn in. So you can either go for English, Hindi or a English. Okay, So once you do that, go to the description of this video and click on notify me. So once you click on that link, so automatically it will take you up to a Play Store and you will download and follow all these steps. Then you can click on notify me to get notified about the classes. So also you can use the code VANIYT to unlock the free courses or free products that are there on Unacademy, so that you can unlock using the referral code VANIYT. So with the same referral code you can also get a 10% discount on the subscription. Okay, so we are done with today's session. Okay, so next session, I think what I have given, I don't remember exactly. Yeah, so I have given next session is on mind map. Okay, so that is nervous system mind map. So this is actually the quickest way that you can revise any of the subjects. Okay, any of the chapters basically. Okay, so I have added a mind map on nervous system, so you can click on the bell icon there so that you get a notification just before the class starts. Also you can subscribe to our channel, that is Unacademy ICSE and ISC Boards. Like and share the video. You can also download the Unacademy Learner app and start attending the special classes there. So this PDF anyway I'll send it on my Telegram channel. Okay, so see you all in the next session then. Okay, so next session is on the mind map itself. Okay, so see you all. Bye bye everyone. Thank you so much. So any doubt that you get, so you can get in touch on Telegram also and get your doubts cleared there as well. And also there is a ask a doubt feature that is available on Unacademy Learner app, so you can also use that. Okay, so bye bye everyone. Thank you so much. Take care.